initially thought that this is going to be short, which it's not. In the before times, I would do a whole bunch of rock climbing and backpacking and kayaking, all outdoor stuff, go to the climbing gym, do stuff like that. I would play video games and board games. We'd have game nights all the time. Pretty much every weekend we'd have a game night.
Oh my God, I feel like I did not have a life before the pandemic because I would just be streaming. Actually, I went out a lot. No, see, the pandemic has made me forgotten about my past life, I feel like.
Physically, I probably gained some weight physically during the pandemic. It's hard, man, when you're just at home eating nonstop. But mentally, there's been some struggles for sure. I mean, we're almost 1 full year into the pandemic, right? It's hard not seeing family and friends in person and being able to go out, especially because one big thing that my family did with me and my wife and the kids, we'd all go to Disneyland a lot. Can't do that anymore. Also, don't really know if we want to do that when it opens. But it's one of those things where you really have to adjust your mindset, and especially as a parent in a pandemic, it's really tough because if you break down mentally or emotionally, you're kind of letting your kids down in a sense because they're going through something that I've never gone through as a kid, that none of us have ever really gone through as children.
I mean, there's ups and downs. It's rough. Not gonna lie, it's not. It's rough.
I've been gaming for longer than I've been doing theater. I think it's just a product of being a 90s kid. I think growing up in that era when video games were really kicking off and really getting developed, there was such a leap from the 80s to the 90s from, these very early starter video games into side-scrolling platformers, into 8-bit, into, now we've got 3D design, into, as much as, you think of Final Fantasy VII with very polygon shapes, but hey, it's 3D, moving forward into, just technological advancement after technological advancement, getting better and better, more honed on graphics, more honed on sound and player base and everything. It's phenomenal when you really look at it. It's just like a rocket went off.
Some really good times in PUBG. There have been so many miscommunications of I'll throw a grenade into a window right as he jumps in, and I'm like, oh no. Oh man, I thought you were going to be. It's kind of funny because it relates to working at home, because I have communication issues with people at work, because it can go, oh hey, we had this problem. How do we solve this? What went wrong? And what are we going to do in the future? Is a constant conversation when my cousin and I are playing PUBG. It's oh shoot, okay, how do we lose that? What went on? Oh my god, no. Okay. That sucked. What are we gonna do next? How did that suck? Why did it suck? And was there anything that we could have done about it?
I'm a Twitch streamer. I'm a huge gamer, so I've been playing games for, honestly, since I was 2 years old. There's pictures of me in a diaper playing games and stuff with my dad on the N64 every day on the weekdays, just and have a super amazing community that I get to get along with and play games with and interact with, and it's made my life even better.
So I streamed some art for a while, and I'd say I streamed for 2 months of just doing art, and it was going really well. And I was I'm gonna fire up the console and see what streaming online is like with games, and it just blew up, and it's continuing to grow, and it's been awesome. I've made a ton of new friends, and it's in COVID times, it's kind of been a saving grace for, I think, a lot of people, me especially too, where you kind of find all these friends that you didn't know you could have from just staying at home. When you're playing online games, you can have 4 or 5, maybe 6 people playing with you at one time, but when you're streaming, you can have up to thousands of people watching you and talking to you while you're doing it.
I got big because of Among Us, a party game which is from like 2 to 10 players. It made it really easy for myself and other streamers to really get that social interaction going again, because it required us to think outside of the box and like really get to know each other, see how like we, I don't know, deceive each other, which is kind of really weird because why would I want to get to know someone to deceive me? But at the same time, I created a lot of friendships through that game, and I have like no words because I'm super thankful that I was even in that place and like had that opportunity to do such things.
Majority of the viewers, I hate calling them viewers because I feel like at this point, the majority of them are just my friends. But I mean, like, I don't know if you see this book right here. They put together this book for me and made me open it on stream. And it has just like a bunch of notes and like heartfelt things in it, which is super cool. And just saying like how much they appreciate like the community that I brought together and stuff through the stream. So I feel like it's kind of ascended just a host viewer relationship. It's kind of like, I'm on playing the game, but I'm providing a central hub for everyone to come and hang out and talk to each other. So yeah, like I'm the Starbucks and they come in and just hang out inside of the Starbucks.
I end my stream with something called Marbles on Stream every single day. And it's something that the chat can get involved in. They don't have to play the game. They just type !play in the chat. And it manifests a marble for each and every one of them. And then they all race down this track that thousands of people make. And it's all random and it's all funny, but we made a meme out of it where at the whoever wins the game, I give nudes to, but it's not nudes, it's NOODS. So I ping people over an image of noodles from like, I have a massive folder of like stock image of noodles that I've gathered like 500 images of noodles from. And I even made an emote now that I have my own emote that's gotten this artistic nudes on it that we all just like spam in the chat and it pops up on the screen. So it's like this weird thing that these inside jokes that new people come in and I'm like, all right, I'm giving out nudes tonight. And everyone's like, whoa. And then everyone who's been there already is like, yeah, and like just like putting all of these noodles in the chat and stuff like that. So I love those kinds of moments where people will come to the chat who've been there before and like really, really love that kind of stuff.
I feel like the friends that I like made in Among Us are like still my friends, and I'm super like grateful and happy for that, because I would have never thought. I never would have thought I would be friends with like Adept. I never thought I'd be friends with Jelly Peanut, and he's now a freaking monster at Among Us. Like, he's huge as hell. I never thought I'd be friends with Dean. I never thought I'd be friends with Harambe, Yeti, like all of them. They all were like super small streamers before like Among Us too. Like a lot of those dudes were actually like 10K streamers and now are like 100K. Like, it's crazy how like this party game really, really set off careers for people.
The fact that Twitch has been around to build communities like that and to help streamers and video game people find a good community like that has been astronomical.
I get to do something that I love for 3 to 4 hours, Monday through Friday, and talk to some now friends that I think will last me for life. So I think it's been super, super important for me this pandemic.
It's like being in a Zoom call or a Hangout or something like that, but we just happen to be playing a video game at the same time. And I know how important that was for this pandemic, for people to have access to something like Discord, Skype, Zoom. There's one called House Party that my fiance and I joined for a little bit because some of our friends were on it. And it's just these video call systems where we can't meet in person. So it's so good to be able to see each other as well. And even while playing a video game, you might not be able to see the person, but even just hearing their voice and knowing that person is also there with you is super, super important, I think, for your mental health. Knowing like, hey, I'm not alone in this. Other people are going through this too, you know? It's so nice to have that place that you can kind of meet with other people, even though you can't see that person, you can't touch that person, you can't give that person a hug, you can sit with that person and talk about things. You know that person is there, and it's nice to find a community of people who are not only there, but also willing to listen about stuff.